The holes of flesh. This is only doing a lot for me. Now that reading close to level 20, everything doesn't really make sense anymore. At least that's what it seemed like after last session. Reminds me of Fallout. Once you get to level 20, if 20 is the cap, you don't get XP anymore. It's like the fun just stops. You need the XP flow to continue having fun. And regardless of everything I just said, I'm going to just start reading at you. The halls of flesh is not a metaphor, for the corridors and rooms of the blighted region make it unlivable for normal beings and perfect place for unspeakable and horrible diseases oozing with miscreants, device, and fowl ichor. The halls of flesh house some of the dungeon's most unseemly and uncontrollable beasts. Abominations that no man could have devised live here in their spices flows through the halls like the bloody remains they leave in their tracks. The abominations are the work of the drider named Mahir and his progeny. His dark experiments centuries ago still resonate in the region and continues to turn out vile, impossible things. Chaos beasts, oozes, chokers, a pair of organisms aptly called twins make a region E both a home and battleground to the unnatural meandery. The twins are anguish and madness, a chimera made from unholy union of the dragon egg, a drow, and protoplasmic goo that cannot be destroyed. They are the truest kind of evil, pure in their form, as they are not destroyable. The chaos and destruction, they lack an understanding of the actions and have lost any semblance of morality. Together they are the core of the region's suffering, and the reason the inevitable is in the region east and ever watchful. If nothing else, region I is the effect of the drider's cause. Whatever remnants of their infernal experiments that do not succeed are discarded and abandoned here for centuries have pushed off their beasts, leaving them to whatever fate the dungeon walls for the Celestials has caused them to pull back to Region E and seal off the dungeon from the aberrations and discarded generic effluents left by the Mahira's children. The story back centuries to when driders with their drow slaves in Tau search for a new home, having recently lost their statues among the other driders. They stumble through a series of underground caverns before seizing Region M. The driders settled there and set their slaves to the task of digging out the region. However, what they found were dungeon walls already cut into the earth. It wasn't long before the driders began to experiment on their drow slaves in hopes of creating more driders. Mahir set laboratories throughout the region in tandem and with the efficient tunnel structure of the previous inhabitants. However, not realizing that taint evil permeated the halls was abyssal in nature, Mahir yearly experiments would result unwanted, unthinkable mutations. It would be decades before a creature even close to what they imagined would be created. Meanwhile, the failures of the vile experiments were exiled to monstrous control sections for the complex. Perhaps the dark goddess of the drow chose to intervene. Perhaps the driders, given to the same arrogance as the former masters, were lost in the air. Whatever the cause, in the single night the driders lost their new home to what was to Mahira's greatest creation. Having traded home to what was Mahira's greatest creation, away 9 sickly drow slaves to Hag Coven, Region K, he acquired a bronze dragon egg which he used to destructive ends. Mahir took a dozen captive drow and injected them with a foul serum he concocted from alchemical elixirs, protoplasmic enzymes, and lingered in agony for months before dying at the hands of the drider Trahogyon. 2 others spilled into an ooze, forming a single mass of mutated jelly reduced to a mass of protoplasmic flesh. Only their madness, which after only a few short hours then ramped out of the laboratory and into the southern holes of Region 1. The 20th or 12th drow survived, left convulsing and vomiting in a catatonic state. It sprouted into semi-draconic, 3-headed abomination. The creature's first conscious act to turn into creatures. Mahir's all but one of the assistants quickly fell into vicious attacks. Within weeks, most of the complex was lost as 2 unstoppable juggernauts broke through the wall and doors in search of more victims. Since the terrible accident that forced the driders to abandon their corridors they once called home, the driders and the drow have fought to reclaim small pockets of the region, but to no avail. Now the driders force the drow slaves to guard what little is left of the halls of flesh, invigorated against the attacks that have driven their brethren to such madness. environment of the halls